Welcome, folks, to episode 33 of the Modern Agile Show. I am here with my friend Emilia D'Anzica and Max, who's decided to join the show today. Emilia is a partner at Winning by Design and a customer success strategist and consultant. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is really exciting. I think the concept, the entire idea of customer success is very, very aligned with Modern Agile. So I'm excited to learn more about what it is and what you do and, have some fun. And hopefully Max will, he'll probably get on your lap at some point, so I hope that's okay.
No problem. He just wants to know what customer success is.
Yes, he's interested too. So, so maybe we should start with a definition. What is customer success?
Yeah, so there's so many definitions of customer success and it's constantly evolving. Just like your customer and your product is changing, customer success is a fairly new profession. LinkedIn said that it's the sixth fastest growing in 2019.
Wow.
And if you do a search on customer success roles on LinkedIn, there's over 250,000 jobs open right now. So what is customer success? Many, many different definitions, but what I believe customer success is enabling your customer to achieve impact with your product or your services. Mm-hmm. Just simply put, that's what customer success is.
Well, that aligns beautifully with, make people awesome, the first principle of Modern Agile. It's very much about customer centricity, focusing on that customer and what can you do to have, to change their world, to give them the superpower they want from your product or service. You're a CSM, but not the CSM we talk about typically, right? You actually have a certified Scrum Master too, right? But CSM is Customer Success Manager. So that acronym is nicely being reused as in another realm.
Yes.
I think if we had more customer success managers rather than certified Scrum Masters, we'd be in much better shape, my opinion. That's an excellent definition. Impact. We say deliver value continuously. You say that differently at Winning by Design, right?
Yes, we do like to use the word impact because we want to help our own customers achieve impact. So if they're able to measure impact as they're building their customer programs, then we can walk away from those programs feeling like we were able to have significant impact on their own organization.
Yeah, that makes sense. So give us an example of a company that was struggling without having good customer success, and then how did this change things?
Yes. So that's our primary focus, is helping customers, whether they're startups under $1 million in annual recurring revenue or $1 billion plus. And before I even give you an example, I'd love to talk about RingCentral. The CEO recently spoke at SaaStr, and he said this year, he's the original founder, one of the co-founders, he said this year, 400 million of the $1 billion we're close to making will come from current customers, 400 million. And so if you're able to achieve impact with your customers, they'll not only keep buying from you, but they'll also expand into other departments and then refer you to previous colleagues in other companies.
Absolutely.
So they can be your biggest voice of your product and services. Mm-hmm. And so that's what really customer success is about and why people hire Winning by Design, hire me. So an example of that is a company starting to sell the product at the beginning. A CEO will do everything. They'll sell, deliver the service, help with the APIs, all the different aspects. As your company grows, you may move a salesperson into customer success. But what happens as the renewal's coming up? How do you talk about expansion opportunities within that company? And often companies are focused on the renewal, and they're focused on building a program around these accounts in their CRM.
Yeah, that sounds very much like the sales process.
Right, and that's an old way of thinking. You need to start thinking about accounts as customers, as human beings, and putting emotion into it. So before you can have a high impact program, you need to start talking about those accounts as customers. So this company I worked with was renewing their first set of customers and noticed that many were starting to churn before the renewal was even coming, or the adoption just wasn't there. They weren't logging in. And so
that's not good. Yeah.
Yes, so those are indicators of potential churn. And what we did over the course of 4 months is build a high impact program where we started measuring what were the key moments in the customer's journey and where could we have more impact along onboarding, the highest opportunity in the honeymoon phase to also churn, buyer's remorse.
Right.
And so we put a program in place and started measuring. Fast forward a year, they went from having a churn problem to now a growth of 115%.
Wow.
So they're selling more to their current customers, and they're increasing the annual reoccurring revenue from that customer. And so that's what you really want to get to. Ideally, you want to be at least 92% to be able to even start asking for more money if you're trying to raise, for example.
92% for what does that mean?
Renewal.
Renewal, okay.
Because you'll always, for example, have whether a company gets acquired, downsizes, you'll see some challenges there. But that doesn't mean you can't sell more to your customers. And typically, companies do have within their contracts something that says we'll raise the prices at 5% a year.
So customer success managers are different from salespeople then?
Absolutely.
They have a different skill set?
They do have a different skill set. Salespeople are typically landing, and so they may also be landing and expanding at the beginning.
Yes.
But after a company matures, after a certain time, customer success managers may start doing the renewals, but that's where Make People Awesome comes in. You'll want to make sure that you're training your customer success managers before you're putting them in a position to do scaling or renewing and expanding the customer contract value, for example.
So do you spend a lot of time with the customers? Like, do you actually go to the customers, interview them, and like try to understand their pain or study data? Like, is it that? What does that journey look like?
Yeah, from a consulting perspective, I'm often worried if I can't talk to the customer or read some information about the voice of the customer, whether it's a survey that they've recently done or I conduct the survey. But I always try to interview some customers as part of my recommendations. A customer journey without the voice of a customer is not one that's going to be successful.
Right, got it. So you don't say deliver value continuously, you say deliver impact.
Continuously.
Continuously.
Yes.
Deliver
Yes.
impact continuously. I love that.
There's so much competition out there.
Yeah.
You have to be continuously anticipating the customer needs and delivering it.
Yeah, awesome. And so in Modern Agile, we talk about experimenting and learning rapidly. Is that something that comes into your world of customer success?
Yes, at least on a quarterly basis, you should be doing some sort of A/B test, whether it's with your onboarding program, on different landing pages, putting different survey questions, real-time, different ways of support, and continuously asking for customer feedback. Being super transparent as well with your customers when you're sharing ideas. I see this often on customer communities, having, for example, a group of customers that you rotate continuously, like on a quarterly basis, for example, and sharing ideas. What's the better customer experience? And based on that, building your product and services.
Oh, cool. And do you work with, like if customers are complaining a lot, who handles those complaints?
Yeah, so I typically recommend that once you reach a certain number of customers, you start having a support team. Often companies make the mistake of creating a customer success team, but really it's a service team.
It's a service team.
They're putting out fires. Customer success managers are proactive
Right.
and delivering impact, whereas support teams are, if a product's broken,
They're reactive.
Exactly, it's
I
a
see.
reactive role.
So say more. How are they proactive? Like, how do they do things before the problems occur?
Well, by being this trusted advisor early on, whether it's helping them onboard to achieve their KPIs, so
Right.
what are those performance indicators, understanding their business,
Yes.
and seeing where can your product and service have a big impact on their own bottom line.
Got it.
That's what customer success managers service and support can be within the products. So like just-in-time support, you try something multiple times, you fail, something pops up that helps you achieve that goal. That's
see.
more support.
Yeah, that sounds like experiment and learn rapidly. You're trying
Yes.
anything you can to make these customers happy and have the KPIs go in the right direction, so you
Right.
are delivering impact. Yeah,
Right.
Excellent. And then to make safety a prerequisite. Does that come up for you guys in your work?
It can depend on the industry, but what I would say in terms of safety is teaching your employees or enabling them to feel like they have the tools and skill sets to have safe conversations with their customers.
Oh yeah.
So customers can sometimes be abusive. I've had it happen to me where I've wanted to put myself on mute and cry for a minute because
my.
I've felt that type of abuse. But being able to educate your team on when you're in this experience, what do you do? How do you disarm the customer?
Right.
Show them empathy when inside you really just want to scream back at them. And then how do you help the customer achieve their goals? And if you can't, how do you create an experience for them where you can go back to your product team or engineering team, get help so that you can come back to the customer with an answer at least where you both feel like there's some progress being made.
Right. Okay. So it really is a safety issue because it can get very difficult at times, I guess,
Yes.
In dealing with these customers. I mean, an angry customer, that's hard. We've all been angry at service providers or product providers in the past, right? And it's so good people in this field learn these skills of disarming, of looking for candor, but not abuse. Obviously, that's
Right, and even creating a safe environment within your company for people to talk to one another.
Yes.
Because you don't want to be hiring everyone that thinks like you. You want to have different skill sets on your team, and you want to have different ideas on your team because they will be reflective of your customers.
Yes.
And as a result, you'll never always agree. But how do you have these safe conversations where you can have respect for one another while moving together towards a common goal?
Yeah. We both love that book, Radical Candor, and
Yes.
what it does to help us all learn how to have those conversations and
Right.
establish safety like that. Yeah. So you obviously love this field, and
Yes.
you're seeing the impact that it derives by kind of looking at numbers too, right? I mean, is it ultimately about a company that's having churn moving towards much better retention and more word of mouth sales that lead to things? Do you go back and say, here's proof of success?
Always. If you're not going back and looking at and measuring your customer's experience, how can you be building the future of the company? You always want to be innovating and building new products, but if you're not incorporating your customers' experiences, what's working, what's not working, what are they asking for, then your product may be taking the wrong turn. And that's often when we get called in, when companies are not seeing real growth. They're just seeing it from bringing in new logos. That's not enough.
No.
You should be expanding the conversation with your customers as well.
And are salespeople do they want to become, customer success managers, or is there a separation between the two?
I would say people, especially today and especially in tech, you have that agility. You can move from becoming a sales manager to a customer success manager. And I've also had people on my team that have moved from becoming a CSM to really liking the conversation around the financials, wanting to do more renewals and expansion,
Yeah.
really excelling there and saying, you know what, I want to go into sales. Will you help me do that? And I always say, if you're successful in your current role and you can achieve impact in your current role, let's make sure that you're successful there first and then move into that new one.
Wonderful.
Always supportive of that.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Emilia. This has been really instructive. I mean, this is a field that's obviously blossoming and critical to business success.
Absolutely.
You know, paying attention to your customer. I mean, that customer centricity thing, I think, is the key to the best companies in the world. I mean, they're focused on that all the time, right? So that's, maybe we all should become, customer success managers and learn the arts of what you're talking about, because I think it's critical, you know.
I agree. Obviously, I'm biased.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And if you enjoyed the show, please pass this on to your friends and give it a like and put some comments in. Tell us what you want to hear about in the future. And thanks so much for watching.